of Dilemmas X Tarot. I am your host, Chelle, owner of sugarxtarot.com, and I am back with another stolen dilemma from Reddit. Okay, so this week's dilemma is all about a wedding, bachelorette party, bridesmaids situation. So let's call the person who's asking for advice Lucy. Okay, let's go. I am friends with Jane. Jane and her fiancé Brad recently got engaged. Jane is one of my best friends and we have known each other since college. When talking about our future weddings, Jane has always expressed that she wants me and a handful of our other closest friends to be her bridesmaids and to have a destination wedding. When I saw Jane and Brad the day they got engaged, one of the first things Jane said to me was how excited she was for me and our other friend to be her bridesmaids. This was about a month ago. However, now that Jane and Brad have started looking at wedding planning, they have decided to have a tiny destination wedding in Colorado and only immediate family will be invited to save money. They also plan on having a casual party for all of the rest of their family and friends after, but there will be no ceremony or sit-down dinner, and there very clearly will not be a second wedding. Even though I was disappointed and hurt to hear that I would not be invited to the actual wedding, I understand that it's their right to have whatever kind of wedding they want. And if it's not important to her that her best friends be there, that's her choice. But what irks me is that Jane still expects a bridal shower, a long weekend trip to an expensive destination for her bachelorette party. And she also mentioned a registry for wedding gifts. I find it a bit ridiculous that she still expects to have these things thrown by and presumably paid for by people that aren't even invited to the actual wedding. She still insists on calling us her bridesmaids, but since we will not be present at the wedding and will have no special designation at the party, I don't see how we actually are. Our friends are a bit split on what to do about this. Some want to confront her about this, some think that would be an arsehole move. So, would I be the arsehole for telling Jane that if she's not having a traditional wedding, she can't expect traditional wedding benefits? Ooh, okay. So this is an interesting one. So let me tell you what I think before we get into the tarot reading. So my opinion on this is that the friend group should approach Jane and have a conversation with her because I feel like she's just expecting way too much. There is nothing wrong with having a destination wedding if that is what she wants with her fiance. Nothing wrong with that. But you can't be expecting people to attend and maybe even pay for this destination bachelorette party. And I would assume she's expecting some expensive wedding gifts. Like, it's just not making sense. Your friends are not actually attending the wedding. So this whole thing about them being called bridesmaids doesn't make sense either. None of it's making sense to me. I feel like Jane needs to go and have a wedding and you can have a party with your friends and family there. And, you know, it would be nice if the friends come and celebrate her and bring a little gift or something like that. I feel like that's okay. But anything beyond that, I just feel like Jane's expecting too much. But let's see what the tarot cards have to say about this. So let's go. All right, so I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to pull 3 cards relating to advice. So I think what I'm going to do is start with the first card to be about whether the friends should confront Jane or not. Let's just see what tarot has to say about that. I think the second card should be about advice in regards to how the friends should maybe approach the situation. So like advice in regards to the conversation they're going to have with Jane. And I think the third card should be about like just general advice in regards to the situation, you know, for the friend group. So that's what I'll do. We'll see what comes out. Ooh, got some cards flying out too. But I don't accept cards that fly out. I like to choose them. Anyway. Do 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 do. Did you like my singing? Honestly, I feel like I'm a bit like unhinged sometimes. My God. Don't ask me what that was because I couldn't tell you. It just, I don't know, it wanted to come out. So, look, I'm singing to you, okay? I'm serenading you, even though it's not that great. But, oh my God, let me just concentrate. Seriously, I just feel like I'm not even with it today. All right, let's look at the first question. Should the friend group confront Jane? This is what I'm thinking. Because we have the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles can typically be about feeling left out in the cold, isolation, feeling lonely, going through hardship, that kind of thing. So what I'm getting is the friend group feel very much like they're not going to be part of that beautiful moment that you always want to see. You know, your friends are happy and they're getting married to the person that they love. You know, one of those big like life moments. The friends are not going to be part of that. That's what I'm feeling. I actually feel kind of sad actually looking at this. So do the friend group need to approach Jane? Yes, I feel that they do. And I really feel like they need to like have a real like heart to heart. And hopefully Jane will be like open to hearing them, to receiving what the friends have to say. Because what I feel like is Jane is just in full on wedding mode. I don't want to say bridezilla, but she's focused on her wedding and, you know, enjoying that moment of getting married to the person that she loves, which I understand, but I feel like she might be lost in it a little bit. And so I feel like the friends need to just let her know, look, we don't feel a part of this like at all. And we're not saying that you have to, you know, spend loads of money to include us, but the fact that we're not part of things, you just can't be expecting, you know, gifts and an expensive destination bachelorette party. Like it just, for us, it doesn't make us feel good. And so moving on to the second card in relation to advice for how they should approach the situation. Again, this is just telling me like they need to let Jane know like how they really feel. There are 10 swords on this card. And so I think they just need to keep it real with her and just say, look, we don't feel good about this and we're not trying to bring you down in any way. We want you to have the best time. We want you to enjoy your wedding. We love that you're getting married to Brad, but we just don't feel good about how things are currently playing out. And it's not to say we don't want to be part of your wedding and we don't want to celebrate you and your love and all of that. But right now, everything's just out of balance and we just don't feel good. We don't. I feel like the friend group and Jane need to have like a serious like heart to heart. But I'm just feeling like a lot of hurt from the friend group side of things because understandably, first of all, they're conflicted about whether or not they should even say anything. And then you've got the whole thing of not being part of the wedding. They're not going to be a part of it. And so there's so many like elements involved. You know, I'm sure they don't want to upset their friend, but then they're also feeling upset as well. And it's just not a nice situation to be in all round. And I feel like maybe Jane's not aware of how much this might be hurting her friends. I feel like she hasn't maybe like sat down and really thought about this, about how it's affecting other people. So I think the two cards that we have, the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, are really saying, have a genuine conversation and let her know how you feel. You know, express that you are happy for her and you want to see her have the best wedding ever and all of that. But we're not a part of things. We would like to be a part of things and we're not expecting you to like fund all of that, but you can't expect us to be funding things either. So we need to find some sort of like balance. So that's what I'm getting in regards to that. General advice, I have the King of Wands. So King of Wands can be about a person who's kind of like fiery or like angry, very determined to get what they want and that kind of thing. And so I almost feel like this represents Jane in a way. So what I'm getting is that the friend group need to ensure they're not trying to fight fire with fire, if you see what I mean. So Jane is in this space of like, you know, I want this, I want that, it's my wedding. That's what I'm feeling. And so if the friend group kind of like come in with that same kind of energy of like, well, we're not paying for this and we're not doing that and I feel like things are going to blow up and no real resolution is really going to be found. People are going to be upset. People are going to be left out, hurt, all of that stuff. And just looking at this card, I just really feel that the friends need to approach Jane in a tactful way, well, as tactful as possible, And Jane also needs to try and be open to hearing what her friends have to say. And yeah, hopefully, they can have a conversation to just, I don't know, find some kind of middle ground where everyone's happy. Because right now, I'm just seeing a lot of like sadness and people just feeling left out. And like Jane is just, she's in her element right now. She's getting married. She wants what she wants. And so I feel like this card actually does represent her. But there is an underlying like anger I feel like I'm picking up in regards to the friend group of like, how dare you expect all these things? Like, how dare you expect like this destination bachelorette party and wedding gifts, and then how dare you call us bridesmaids when we're not even going to be part of the wedding? So I feel like that does need to be addressed before things like, kind of brew and brew and brew and then they blow up. So overall, what I'm getting in regards to advice for the friend group is to just let Jane know how they really truly feel. Okay, so what I also wanted to do was flip things round and look at Jane's side of things. So I want to look at like Jane's mindset right now, like what is going on in Jane's head. And then I also wanted to look at the potential outcome if Jane was to really push for this destination bachelorette party and the gifts and all of that. Or if she was to be like, you know what, actually, I feel like I'm being a bit unreasonable. Let me just invite my friends to the party. And if they want to bring me a gift, great. But if not, you know what, I'm going to be okay. At the end of the day, it is all about love. I love my friends. I love my fiance. I just want us all to come together to celebrate my love, my wedding, and all of that. And I want my friends to be there. So I want to look at what the potential outcome would be if we were to look at those two different scenarios. So now we're looking at things from Jane's point of view. All right. So I think I'm going to shuffle again just to like switch up the energy in the cards a little bit. What's going on with Jane? What's going on in Jane's head, in her mind? What is happening? Let's see. So, in regards to where Jane's head is at, where is Jane currently? What is she thinking? We've got the Lovers card. And then in regards to the potential outcome in both the different situations, we've got the Eight of Pentacles if Jane was to push for the things that she wants in regards to the wedding. And then we've got the Five of Pentacles if she decides not to push for the things that she wants in regards to her wedding. So the Five of Pentacles has kind of thrown me a little bit, so I want to pull another card just to clarify. But I do feel like this is more to do with the friend group because we just had the Five of Pentacles when I was looking at the advice for the friend group. So it does actually link up, but I just need to clarify that a bit more. So I'm going to pull another card. Okay, so we've got the Temperance card to clarify the Five of Pentacles. So let's just circle back to the first part of the Jane tarot reading section, right? So where is Jane's head at? What is she thinking? We've got the Lovers card. So straight away, that tells me Jane is just all wrapped up and lost in this whole wedding and the love of it all that she has for her fiance Brad and stuff like that. Like she is in full on wedding mode, happy mode. Like she's very much like in that space of just being in love. And so I feel like she's not actually seeing the whole situation clearly or taking on board other people's feelings in regards to her expectations, because I feel like she's in that space of this is my moment, and so I would like to have certain things. I don't actually feel like Jane is a bad person. I just feel like she's just really like lost in all of the wedding stuff. So let's move on to the second part of things where I'm looking at the potential outcome. So if Jane decides that actually I still want this bachelorette party and I want this registry for wedding gifts and I want to call you bridesmaids and all that, if she was to force it and push it, and still be like, no, I want this, I want this, I want this, we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is about hard work typically. So I just feel like looking at this card, she would be creating a whole load of work for herself in many different areas. So number one, if you're going to push for all these things that you want, even though you're not having a traditional wedding, it involves more planning and stuff like that. It involves more money. I mean, this is a Pentacles card after all. Who is paying for all of this stuff? Then you are going to have a lot of work in regards to either trying to get your friends on board or trying to do like damage control when your friends now push back and they're like, actually, no, we're not doing all this. We're not spending all this money or whatever. You've now got to fix things with your friends. And so I just feel like all round there would just be a lot more work involved that just doesn't need to happen. So if we look at the other potential outcome, if Jane was to not push for this destination bachelorette party and the registry for the wedding gifts and to not call her friends bridesmaids when they're not going to be at the wedding, we have the Five of Pentacles clarified by the Temperance card. So what I'm getting is that her friends are still going to be feeling, a bit left out of things, which is understandable. If you're not going to have this bachelorette party and stuff, then how are your friends really involved? Okay, yes, she's going to have a party for people to come to, but it's just not really the same. And so I'm still getting that feeling from the friends of still feeling like they're left out. But because we have the Temperance card, which is typically about like balance, the flow of things being a bit better, being more in alignment and things like that, I feel like Jane and her friends can find a solution that works for everyone. So where Jane can still get some of what she may want, whether it's the friends coming to the party with some gifts or something, I don't know, and the friends being like, okay, great, we don't have to spend all of this money, or we don't have to feel so left out because we're coming to the party, or we're going to organise you a really small like bachelorette dinner or something. I feel like they would find some sort of middle ground if Jane doesn't push for certain things. So yeah, that's what I'm getting in regards to Jane's side of things. And so looking at both sides, I actually do feel like things can be sorted out. I feel like if the friends do approach Jane and they don't come at her with this like angry kind of like energy, and if Jane is like, you know what, I'm going to take on board what you're all saying, like I'm sorry that you guys feel left out, or I'm sorry that I was expecting this and that or whatever, if both sides can come from a grounded, stable kind of like loving energy where they all want to find a solution, I feel like everything is going to be okay and everything will work out. And I feel like it's possible looking at the cards that I've pulled in regards to this situation. So is Lucy the arsehole for wanting to tell Jane that if she's not having a traditional wedding, then she can't expect traditional wedding benefits? No. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap this episode up. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have a dilemma that you would like me to do a reading on, then please email that over to me. Or if you happen to find a dilemma online or on Reddit and you would like me to do a reading on it, then email me at dilemmas@sugarxtarot.com. You can also visit my website, which is www.sugarxtarot.com, where you can book a personal reading, and you can also find a link there to my weekly messages that I write called What the Universe Wants You to Know. These are messages that I write every week for the collective and also for each zodiac sign. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have an amazing day, an amazing week, and I will be back with another episode real soon. Okay, bye.